Veggie hype. That's right. Should probably grab my oil too. Let's see here. That's it, huh? Perfect amount. Mod only mode, sure. Next level strats. It's gonna be good. What's happening, everybody? Are we actually live now? It usually takes XSplit about 1,200 frames or so to get there. How are we today? We're kicking off Season 2 of Cooking with Frag. Let me go ahead and post the Cooking with Frag info. I haven't got the final 2 weeks done, but I put actually quite a bit of thought into this season. We ended up taking a 3-week break in between, so this is episode 1. I'm just going to do a very simple seasonal vegetable dish today. Farmer's market is open where I live, so I'll be doing the majority of my vegetable shopping at the farmer's market this year. So I'm going to show a very simple way to cook vegetables. It really works for any leafy vegetables. I eat a lot of vegetables. In fact, I will eat a giant plate of vegetables as a meal because it makes you feel good and it's full of nutrition and all that. Granted, everybody loves meat. We can talk about bacon and steak and all that stuff. If you look on the Cooking with Frag info, I'm going to be doing shrimp and scallops and duck and all sorts of other really tasty meat dishes. But today I wanted to focus on veggies because veggies are an important part, an important side, or just an important dish if you want to eat healthily. So we have this lovely rainbow char. It's called rainbow char because it has different colored stems. This isn't the most colorful char that I've ever had, but it's really nice and crisp. Got some fresh radishes and a red onion. Now, these are all very bitter things, so when you're cooking vegetables, you have to think about flavor profiles. Vegetables in general are not the tastiest things by themselves, so you have to find ways to make them tasty. So what I'm going to do with these 3 bitter vegetables, we have an onion, rainbow char, and radishes. I'm going to use a mixture of cumin, salt, and Tabasco on the vegetables and olive oil to try to achieve a good flavor profile. Usually you want contrasting flavor profiles, so spicy and sweet, or things like that. The cumin will be a little bit sweet. I like using cumin on bitter vegetables a lot. It adds a real earthy depth of flavor and a little bit of sweetness. Salt, of course, is good on everything, and then Tabasco for spice, which is kind of a sweeter spicy than most things like a chili or something like that. Cumin is one of my favorite spices, along with turmeric and well, a bunch of other ones. I might actually do a spice section at the end of Cooking with Frag. We'll see how it goes. But it's going to be a real simple, quick dish I'm going to make for myself. Nice and easy. I already pre-washed everything, so we're good to go there. Alright, you can also use radish greens if you want to. Usually put them in salads and stuff, but not today. Let's get these trimmed up. So vegetables are a staple of what I eat. I'm by no means a vegetarian at all, but I really have come to love vegetables working in kitchens. You get to work with so many different kinds, and they're really amazing and prepared properly. There's very few meals I'll actually eat as far as a composed meal goes without a healthy side of vegetables. Just so many great nutrients, and they make you feel good when you eat them, unlike a lot of other stuff. Poor radish. So all this can be used for salad greens, or hell, you can even saute it up. But radish greens especially are quite high on the bitter spectrum, so I usually don't use them for that. That noise. Alright, no man left behind. Alright, so we just cut the ends off, the greens and the little the root end. The most important thing you can do when you're cooking multiple vegetables is figure out your cooking time on whatever the vegetable is. So after we have everything cut, we'll figure out what order we're going to add stuff to the pan. Every vegetable has a different cooking time, the size that you cut it, the size the vegetable is, density, moisture content, all that. I would say the only real exception is mushrooms, which I've done on a previous cooking with the Frag, where you just want to cook the hell out of them to achieve the most flavor. So for this, we're going to take off the stem end, just the very end. You don't have to cut off very much at all. In fact, you don't even have to cut that off if you don't want to. Okay, char has two parts. You got the stem end down here, and you got the leafy green part. So what we're going to do is cut off these chunky stems, and then we will cook those separately. If you have a really thick piece like this, you may end up making a little cut here on the side of the green and then removing the stem portion like so. But if it's skinny, not as big of a deal. Why you do this is the stem end is much harder than the green, so it'll take longer to cook. So we're going to separate those out so that we do not have a weird cooking time or undercooked char. The ideal thing you want to do with any vegetable, well, this is my opinion, is you want it to still be crunchy. You never want mushy vegetables. One, they're not going to taste as good, and two, you're cooking out most of the nutrients in the vegetables, which kind of defeats the purpose of eating them in the first place. Okay. So we're just going to stack all of these up. Going to make 2 cuts. Bunch it up. It looks like a giant pile of greens, but this will wilt down to almost nothing. If you've cooked spinach before, you can throw just a mountain of spinach in your pan, and it cooks down to almost nothing. Pretty much any greens works the exact same way. It's a little bit hardier than spinach, but about the same. Okay, then we'll chop these up. I'm really excited for this season of Cooking with Frag. I'm trying to not elevate it, but we're going to do a little more complicated stuff, doing lamb and some seafood and some other things that would be a little more practical for cooking. For the first season, I really just wanted to focus on the basics, and I think I did a pretty good job of doing that. But we're going to actually do some actual meals and, well, compose meals on this Cooking with Frag, stuff that I enjoy cooking when I do have the time to do so. Seafood's amazing. Also do a very simple white fish, which is I'm excited for because I don't get to eat that much seafood. Okay. Let's cut this in half, and I'm going to cut these into somewhat thicker wedges. So once again, going over the seasonings we're going to use, we're just going to use salt, cumin, and Tabasco for this. All of these things are very bitter. So you have to find a way to find a decent profile, flavor profile within that bitterness. Now, I really love bitter stuff, I truly do, but there is such a thing as too much bitter. We're going to cut all these in half, and then we're going to kind of chunk them up. Radishes are one of my favorite vegetables. I don't get them all that often, but they have a really good flavor if you cook them properly. If they're not mushy, but just on the crunchy side, they have a really amazing texture and flavor. Very peppery and good. Okay, you notice here, if you're going to chop a lot of stuff, do one thing at a time. So we cut all the ends off our radishes, and now we cut them all in half. And then now we're going to cut them all in chunks. If you do it one radish at a time, you waste a ton of time switching tasks over and over again. Okay, another tip, if you're right-handed, always put all the stuff you're cutting on the left-hand side of the cutting board. When you make the cut down, it's going to end up on the right side of the cutting board. If you're left-handed, it's opposite. If I put my stuff over here and I start chopping like this, every time I make a cut, I have to clean off my knife and then push it to the side and grab another one. Whereas if we do it on this side, you make your cut, that's it. We did knife skills at the start of the Cooking with Frag, but I'll just do a brief summary. Anytime you cut anything with a knife, you use your hand as a guard. You make a claw, and then your knife rests up against your knuckle, and this way when you're cutting down, you'll never be able to cut yourself. The only way you usually end up cutting yourself using this technique is if you accidentally stick your thumb out, and then you cut into your thumb, which I've done many times, or you forget to do your claw. But this is the safest way to cut anything. It also helps because you can pinch whatever you're cutting and keep it sturdy. I think vegetables get a pretty bad rap. I know when I was a kid I ate a lot of vegetables I did not like. When I started working in kitchens again, I tried vegetables many different ways and ended up coming to love them again. Like I used to hate asparagus, but now I absolutely love asparagus. Same with broccoli, radishes. Char, I'd had char before and hated it. Give vegetables a chance if you haven't. Broccoli is absolutely amazing. Okay, so here's all the stuff. Now we gotta figure out what is the order this stuff's gonna go in. I'm gonna say the radishes and this are probably gonna take quite a while. The greens themselves probably not that long. Onions we want barely cooked, so probably gonna add the radishes and char ends, followed shortly by the greens, and as soon as the greens are wilted, we'll add the onions. This is really just a trial and error thing, and of course you're not going to have the same vegetables every time. They're not going to be the same size, so it's really something you have to play with. You're probably not going to nail it your first time. In fact, I may have the wrong order right now, for all I know. Okay, so we're just going to start with a little bit of olive oil, which is the last of my olive oil. I guess it's about close to a tablespoon. That'll be all the fat that's on these. And we all have things that we don't like, but I always encourage people. Really? Okay, let's do that. There we go. I always encourage people to try things again. You never know. Like, I really had a strong dislike for carrots even after I started working in kitchens until I had orange butter glazed carrots, and it was mind-blowingly good. So always keep your mind open when you're trying something. If you go into eating something with the mindset that I don't like this food, you can definitely taint your experience of trying something new. So we're going to wait for our pan to get nice and hot. I always talk about using a hot pan. There's so few applications where you'd actually use a cold pan to cook anything. The hotter your pan, the faster it cooks, and the more flavor you're going to get if you get any char on there. That oil in the pan looks like America. Nice. But thank you all for joining. I'm really excited to start Season 2 of Cooking with Frag. To be perfectly honest, it's sometimes very hard to find the motivation to meal plan and do all these things, hell, in our everyday life. So, simple food is good. Alright. So we got salt, cumin, Tabasco. Cumin's one of my favorite spices to use, period, but especially on bitter greens, I find it to be very good. Of course, everybody's palate is different. Not everybody's going to like the same things. I'm totally missing subs, but thank you everybody that subscribe to the channel. Do appreciate it. It's going to be a very simple one, then we get into some more complicated stuff after this, which should be very interesting, because I have not cooked in a professional kitchen for almost 2 years now. So a lot of the stuff I'm cooking, yeah, I've done it before, but it's been a while. Okay, I think we got a nice hot pan now. The oil's starting to separate a little bit. Nice sizzle. Could have been a little bit hotter. That's okay. In this particular application, we're not actually trying to brown anything, so the heat of the pan is not the end of the world if it's not quite hot enough. I mean, honestly, I don't care if I mess up during cooking with Frag. I am by no means was never. I was a cook for a long time. I know how to do a lot of things, but it's really. Cooking is not the Food Network. It's not the Food Network. You're going to have stuff that you mess up. That's the bottom line. Nobody's a perfect cook. Even cooks in professional kitchens make mistakes all the time. Cooking is not an exact science, especially when you're working with ingredients that you maybe haven't worked with before. It's really about the fun of experimentation and having a good time with it, trying new things. Mistakes are going to happen. It's a matter of learning from your mistakes. So if I mess up on a live show in front of thousands of people, I'm okay with that. I can live with that. Okay, so what we're looking for in these radishes, they get slightly translucent when they start to cook. Go ahead and add the greens now. You see the timing window for adding the greens was very small. Sometimes staggering the way you add things to the pan is a matter of 15 seconds. Where's my rubber spat? Alright, or not then. We'll use a spatula then. Cool. A wood spoon. We're going to add a little bit of seasoning every time we add a new ingredient to the dish. So we're going to add a little more salt and cumin now. We're going to finish it with the Tabasco and salt and cumin mix. You see it's already starting to wilt down quite a bit. Once again, the goal of cooking vegetables for me is to have everything to have a little bit of crunch on it. Obviously the greens are going to wilt down and not be crunchy, but you don't want completely mushy radishes or char. That would defeat the purpose. You can see that the radishes are also bleeding. What that means is they're going to leak their color, which makes for an interesting looking dish. But all that greens is already cooked down to almost nothing. Okay, so always taste everything when you add it as well. Like I'm tasting the greens right now. Cumin level's great. It's got a nice earthy undertone. However, my salt level is a little bit off, so we're just going to add a little bit of straight salt. The best thing you can do when cooking anything is constantly taste your food. Every time you add something and every time you season, taste it again and again and again. That way you'll not end up adding too much or not enough. Big mistake people make is they wait till the end to season something, or they season too aggressively at the start. You're better off seasoning slowly and going from there. Okay. Yeah, look, I play a game afterwards. I usually keep it. I keep it to an hour. I keep cooking to Frag. I try to keep it to within 1 hour segment. So we started at 10 p.m. on Saturdays when scheduled, and then go for about an hour or less, and then continue the show as normal. A hungry cook is his own fault. Sounds good. Sure, I'll go over how to flip stuff. Hold on. There is the Cooking with Frag info. You can find that below the stream as well. Okay, so flipping stuff in a pan. Let me bring it over here. The trick is you're pushing the stuff to the front of the pan and then back in. So how you achieve this is you tilt your pan down, push forward, and bring it back up. The mistake people make is they try to push forward and then pull the pan back like this. That is completely missing the point. You just push it down and then bring it back level. Just push down, bring back level. So what you're doing is you're forcing all the food to the edge of the pan, and when you bring it back up, it flies back into the pan. Hunger is the best spice. Very true words. So you actually don't want the pan to move very much at all when you do it. You just want to push it to the edge. It really doesn't go very far in the actual push forward. You're really only moving the pan about this much. It's all in the up and down that it makes the food flip back into the pan. Okay. I'm going to hit this with a splash of Tabasco, and then my veggies will be done. I wanted to do veggies to start with because I'm going to be doing a lot of veggies with all of the Cooking with Frag stuff. And vegetables are a very important part of eating healthy. Yep, the greens are almost vanished. That's right. And remember, that was a huge pile. It was probably it was the biggest thing on the cutting board for then. I like the spice profile of Tabasco a lot. I use it in cream soups and stuff like that as well. It's nice. It's not overbearing, but it definitely has a kick to it. Greens? What greens? So that is literally it for today. This technique will work for almost any vegetable. There's very few exceptions, mushrooms being one of those that you have to cook the hell out of them. But really, any leafy vegetable, onions, radishes, garlic, whatever, olive oil, salt, and seasonings is good. That's all you really need. All right. And once again, don't be afraid of messing up in the kitchen. That's the number one thing I tried to relay last season. Everybody says they're a terrible cook. Well, I mean, even the best cooks make mistakes. You're gonna mess up. The best thing you can do if you can taste something and cook bad, just try to figure out where it went wrong. So this will literally be my dinner tonight, and I will feel amazing after eating that because delicious. And salt, cumin, Tabasco, olive oil. That's it. Yes, you will feel amazing with no guilt. This whole thing has 12 grams of fat in it from the 1 tablespoon of olive oil I used. That's it. Alright guys, I'm going to go kill my cast. I'm going to come back on downstairs. I'm going to be playing some Cloudberry Kingdom tonight. But in the meantime, while I actually wait and clean up a little bit, I'm going to encourage you guys to check out Prixie, who is doing Dark Souls with a steering wheel. Dark Souls with a steering wheel. Cool, Slim West, I appreciate it. Yeah, Dark Souls with a steering wheel. That's what I was watching before I started the cast today. It was almost hard to pull away. It was so good. Okay, guys, I'll be back online in about 2 minutes, and then I'm going to take a break and get back to Cloudberry Kingdom. Be back soon.